Unlike other artistic mediums, when it comes to categorizing games, we tend to speak more of the mechanics of the games rather than the content, style, and techniques as we do in movies, music, and paintings. We use very mechanical terms like we use in board or card games to describe the types of interactions that happen between us and the game's interface. Let's take Skyrim for example. At its core, it's a role-playing game, but to be more accurate we say it's a first-person role-playing game. We describe games this way because some gamers prefer first-person games, and others can't even play them. We have to differentiate the perspectives in the way we describe them. I do understand that Skyrim can be played with the available third-person mode, but really what kind of monster does that? Then there's the way we interact with the game world. Because of the size of the map /overworld /hub in Skyrim, and the lack of loading screens or boundaries as one travels about, we call it an open world game. We used to call this type of game world sandbox, shortly after we stopped calling them GTA clones, but because Skyrim welcomes the player to forgo the story, quest, and rules of the game in order to just have fun with the game mechanics by default, it is also a sandbox. But there are other differentiations that may be important to a guy who is really weirdly specific about the games he likes. His name is Bartholomew. Bartholomew is an ass. Bartholomew wants to know if it's a turn-based game or a real-time game. It is definitely the latter. We simply call these games action games, and they are the closest thing we have to a genre so far. I think we're finally ready to accurately describe Skyrim in one sentence. Skyrim is a first-person role-playing open-world sandbox action game, or a FPRPOW SAG. The thing is, most of us are satisfied using one or two of these categories, mostly based on our own preferences, but that doesn't make them genres. For that we need to speak about the game's content and not its mechanics. Movies, the closest relative to games when it comes to media, still stick to very strict genres, and that mostly speaks to the non-interactive way movies are presented. There are in fact several first-person movies like the Blair Witch Project, Cloverfield, and Grave Encounters, and they all fall into the same genres and share the same content: suspense, horror, action, etc. There is a genre called found footage, but saying that the footage was found makes it part of the narrative. In this situation, a character is literally holding a camera. The same with books. They are written with all kinds of perspectives and multiple narrative techniques, but they are only described by their subject matter. The thing is that games only have genres within very similar games when thematic differences really have a chance to stand out. Let's go back to Skyrim and its brother Fallout 3. Both mechanically very similar games, thematically complete opposite. That is because they are in different genres. One is fantasy, the other is post-apocalyptic science fiction. As genres, I like post-apocalyptic science fiction and dislike fantasy. This is what attracted me to Fallout 3. And the mechanics of Fallout 3 introduced me to Skyrim. As a result, I love Fallout but only liked Skyrim. This love of Fallout 3 made me reach out to Fallout 1. I was looking for a post-apocalyptic first-person role-playing open-world sandbox shooter. What I got instead was a post-apocalyptic isometric role-playing turn-based game. I hated it. This is because we are far more forgiving of genre changes than we are of mechanical changes. This is why a person who likes Grand Theft Auto will probably also like Red Dead Redemption, but not Red Dead Revolver. The thing we like becomes a different thing, but with the same theme. This is why we can happily like both Captain America: The First Avenger and Captain America: Winter Soldier. One is a period drama, the other a spy thriller. The genre becomes a barrier of entry, part of the setting and not a complete deal breaker. Once we are ready to accept it as only backdrop, then we are free to judge those things based on the quality of the talent and techniques involved. Franchise-based games are often bad not only because of shortened development cycles, but also because studios match their franchises to mechanics simply because those mechanics are selling well. But they are selling well because somebody else is doing them better. Good franchise games are often tied to mechanics that are new, underexposed, or even forgotten, and sometimes the genre and mechanics just match really well. After watching the Twilight movies, I can say that they are bad. I can also say that My Little Pony is good, but I don't like either of them. My judgments become less relevant because those genres were not meant for me. On the same token, I think the new Ninja Turtles movie was terrible, and I liked it. And I think the Ninja Turtles current cartoon is the best piece of media the franchise has ever seen. They are also in genres not meant for me. To bring it back to games, the Turtles in Time game was amazing, and it was based on a cartoon that was basically a toy commercial. Sure, myself and a lot of you loved it, but nostalgia aside, they're unwatchable today. Mechanically broken, cheap animation, and bad stories that only serve to introduce more characters to make new toys. But the game itself played really well and it aged beautifully. I still play it today. It reconciles my adult cynicism with my nostalgia. Because genres don't matter as much in games, the way we describe games sometimes come from the mechanics the developer wants to sell. This is why Destiny is described as a massively multiplayer game when the servers barely hold as many people as a regular multiplayer game on PC. Or, I could be wrong, and Battlefield is an MMO. The fact that genres don't matter in gaming is great. It's a compliment to gaming that its complexities and everything else it has to offer cannot be contained within a few words. We have to be descriptive of mechanics to do those games justice, and it helps us explore genres that in any other medium would go completely ignored by a large portion of that base. I'd never go out of my way to watch a romantic comedy, but after being 3 balls deep into the romantic options of Mass Effect, I might give a dating sim a try. And that's the thing. Thanks for watching.